Hey, we're Pure Blood Wolf Brothers, and we're about to do a blind reaction. I'm Steve.
And I'm Bobby. And this is Libs of TikTok woke compilation. Excited.
Let's have some
If
fun
you're
with
a
this one.
white liberal leftist or consider yourself to be a white
not me.
ally,
Nope.
I have a challenge for you. Don't create any more content on TikTok until September 22nd.
Okay.
And honestly,
How about ever?
you deserve a
Right.
break because every day is a white person day and y'all must be exhausted. So while you sit back, listen,
Wasn't today President's
learn,
Day?
Yeah, I know. Did you got my card yesterday for that White Person's Day, right?
No, it must have been lost in the mail.
Dang it. Well, I sent the one for today to you, so you should get it by
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay.
and
all right.
truly decenter yourself, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, we got it from here. Please, though, continue to like, comment, and share our content because y'all are always talking about how you want to support us and create equity. But the truth that so many of y'all are unwilling to accept is that you do not want Black, Indigenous, and other people of color to lead and pave the way because what would we do without your perspective, your voice, your commentary, your education?
Barack Obama was half black.
The
8
rest
years.
was Kenyan.
Yeah.
We would thrive.
Buckle in, I'm gonna get brutally honest.
Okay.
The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Who created these monsters?
Hold on, wait. If a single dad, he rocks a cradle, does he rule the world too?
If I ruled the world.
We did. We birthed them. We nursed them. We read their little nursery rhymes and sang the little songs. We taught them in their preschools and their kindergartens and their first and third grades. White women craft their own gilded cage. And we do it by raising little misogynistic, patriarchal tyrants.
Well, that's bad parenting.
We raise the little boys who grow up to be the Donald Trumps, the Mitch McConnells, the Greg Locks of
Then shouldn't she should do a better job. Like, what's
This
she
chick-
complaining about?
Something tells me the guy that she might have had kids with, if she's had kids, probably left her because of this crazy misogynistic attitude she's got.
Oh yeah.
Even though her whole thing starts out as being the nurturing feminist strength, okay, fine. No, she obviously did something wrong. If her kids ended up being blasphemous to this whole crap, oh my man!
God, I feel sorry for her ex dude.
this world. White women raised them. Now I hear you on the last sentence. When these little
Wait.
tyrants
Did she just say white women?
Raised them. Raised those
Oh.
little misogynistic.
So it was just white women? It was
Just
nobody
what-
else's fault but white
No,
women?
No. Yep, she's putting herself down. Like this
Man,
is what
well,
this is what
maybe
liberalism
she's from
and
Kenya,
feminism. Yeah, this is what liberalism and feminism do. They make you have self-guilt. I ain't got none of that.
This is crazy.
grow up and abuse us, and we speak out about it, yeah, we're gonna be institutionalized.
You should be.
We'll be called crazy. And this hits home personally. One of my grandmothers was institutionalized. And when I look back at
Runs
her
in the
story, I'm convinced she had complex PTSD because of domestic violence. I don't think she was crazy at all.
Could be.
And we could look at her life specifically and say, what kind of choices did she really have? I mean, it was
Wait,
her husband.
stop. Back that up. Did she say might have been because of domestic violence?
Domestic violence. I don't think she was
a little
crazy at all. Complex institutionalized. And when I look back at her story, I'm convinced she had complex PTSD because of domestic violence. I don't think she was crazy at all.
Well, Okay, whatever.
I mean, yeah, domestic violence can probably do some pretty crazy stuff to you, but I think craziness just runs in her family because look at the byproduct of that.
And we could look at her life specifically and say, what kind of choices did she really have? I mean, it was her husband, my grandfather, who crafted her fate. But as a whole, white women raise the white boys who grow up to be the tyrants. And until we own that fact, it will be a perpetual truth.
Are you a
The
tyrant,
truth
Bobby?
is,
I'm not a tyrant,
You're
and
a
I love
tyrant,
my
right?
white mother.
Right?
I think she did a great job.
most white women are perfectly fine in the comfort of their gilded cage. Family first, America first, and all that garbage.
School counselor because I believe in the transformative power of early intervention. And I don't just mean the
Brainwashed.
power to transform individual lives. I mean the power to transform society. When I teach young boys to acknowledge and honor the wide range of their emotions, when I can help them to own their mistakes and offer sincere and authentic apology, when I can encourage them to embrace their vulnerability and ask for help when they need it, I can see small cracks in the patriarchy start to form. When I talk to my students about identity, stereotypes, bias, and privilege, and they start to notice the inequities in the world around them, and they start to call for change.
Dude, this is the reason I am so scared to send my children to school. Her. Look, she's teaching boys to be weak. She's teaching
No, she's
about
teaching
identity
No,
theft.
no, no.
Oh.
She's teaching. Listen, she's teaching boys to be girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she can't teach them to be boys.
No.
She doesn't know how.
No, she's a female.
I'm going. In her mindset, she's going to teach everything the way she feels that everything should be.
Yeah, that was a little nice theatrical you got there. That's the thumbnail for this.
I can see cracks in white supremacy. I start to have hope. I do this work because I believe in the power of early intervention.
Language.
I'd love to ask
matters.
her what is
Words
actually white supremacy.
Right. The left has thrown that around so much where it just lost all credibility. Anybody that says it is just, you just dismiss it. You have to.
They don't know.
No.
They have no clue.
Mm-mm.
I believe in the power of early intervention.
Language matters. Words matter. Oppression, hate, even things as severe as slavery start with words. Okay, this is how we construct society. Social constructs begin in language. To be able to reconstruct a society or to create social change, you need to do it at the level of language. Like if you don't even have a shared language, you cannot affect any change because you don't have a common language. So it's so important to become really familiar with the nuance of language and how language evolves and what language means. Today I was teaching kids about Harriet Tubman, and we were talking about enslavement versus slavery, or slave versus enslaved person. And we were unpacking all of the nuances of language and how important it is to name things what they are. And they didn't even know that slavery was still alive and well in some places, and that some of the things like human trafficking or slavery that's happening in other places is still alive today, like blew their minds.
You know, I don't really disagree so far with anything she's saying.
Some tells me we gotta wait for something here.
Yeah, because she's making too much sense.
Because we don't call things what they are, and we don't unpack these nuanced language, like what all these things mean. So much flies under the radar because we don't call things what they are. And this is the problem with positivity bullying. It minimizes the impact of some words.
Positivity bullying? What is that? Have you heard of that?
No.
Positivity bullying.
But like I said, just wait. Something tells me we're about to cringe real hard.
All right, I'm going to back it up real quick.
Bullying. It minimizes the impact of some words. It seeks to repackage something into something nicer to hear to reduce discomfort. But all we're doing really is empowering that violence to continue to happen because we aren't calling it things what they are. Language is violence.
No, it's not. Language is language. Words are words. Words aren't fists.
But
You're not going to convince me. Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby, they hurt so bad.
Oh my god, I just got punched in the face with a noun. Yeah, no. That doesn't work.
And
Nouns are
calling it
hard
things what
words.
they are. Language is violence. Like, white supremacists
There's that word
don't
again.
shoot a place just because. It starts in language. Why did they leave a manifesto? Why is leaving a message so important for these violent racists? Stop.
I wonder if this came out around the time of the Las Vegas shooter, because that manifesto was included. What's that? Antifa, with all them little dorky kids.
I still want to know what happened to all the videos that were taken from people's phones.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get way off topic here. Hold on.
Stop trying to minimize what things are. If somebody calls you a racist, consider what it is that you're doing to perpetuate white supremacy and racism instead of being defensive about the label and telling people, don't call me that, I'm not a racist. Like, stop dismissing the label and sit with your discomfort and understand that that language is important, that you're being called a racist for
Nerdy education stuff.
Okay, wait. Backing it up to that chick. If you're gonna call me that, it's probably
Define it.
because right, and it's probably because you're a little. Like, you just throw that word around all the time. You know
She
how
needs
many
to
times
define what
online?
she's saying.
Right. You know how many times online I've been called that? For pointing out obvious things. They just
You
throw
mean
that
like-
word around.
Like Hillary's a. You're a racist. Ah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
she really is.
stupid. I hate these people.
understand that that language is important, that you're being called a racist for
Nerdy education stuff. You have asked me how I build an anti-racist classroom. One of the first steps in achieving this is having a culturally responsive classroom. So the idea is that children come into your classroom with their own knowledge, their own experiences, cultures, and backgrounds. Aside from just naming that and
She just has a face you want to give plastic surgery to. Oh my god.
I'm not gonna go there, man. I just wow.
This is-
She's a teacher, right?
Yeah, this is what scares me, dude. Seriously, you ain't gotta worry about this anymore. But seriously, if you had kids in school age, it's a lot of work to homeschool kids, But it might be worth it.
Wow.
I don't know.
celebrating our differences. One of the ways that I do this is having a community board. So on the community board, we'll have pictures of our families, especially in the beginning of kindergarten. That's so helpful. And you can add artifacts, pictures, whatever, things.
What about the ABCs? Just teach the kids the damn ABCs and maybe some colors,
I'd like a little bit of starter math in there too.
Right? Like, dang, you're teaching 4 or 5-year-olds. This is an anti-racist classroom. 4 or 5-year-olds.
They don't even know what racism is.
Right? They don't hate nobody. They're
This
just
woman
kids.
don't even know what racism is.
That are meaningful to them and their families. This can also be brought into the curriculum and the space. Something in the past that's been an issue is surrounding Black and brown students with just white representation in literature, in photos, in mentors.
It probably wasn't a problem until it became a problem.
I've never known any child, no matter what color, think or believe any kind of race anything until they are told that
Right.
garbage.
Right.
I
You
have
know-
a biracial child.
Mhm.
Okay. Did you ever see any kind of racial hating from him?
No.
No.
No. And, I have a white child. And, if we go to the store, she picks out a brown doll. All right, that's the doll you want, This is so dumb, dude. These teachers make their own problems. And they want to act like
They
they're the
teach
savior.
problems.
Right. And they
That's
want
all
to
they're
act
doing.
like they're the savior. They're not. They are the problem.
Making sure that the people you teach about in your classroom.
I used to actually think teachers were underpaid.
Yeah, no. They're overpaid now.
No, a lot of what they're teaching now, man, they need minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
Like minimum wage in the 1980s.
No, they need to just lose their job and get actual teachers that teach curriculum. You know?
They are teaching curriculum. This
Yeah,
is the
their
garbage that they
curriculum.
want taught.
It is trash.
This isn't right, people.
No.
Look like your students is so great. And let them share their own experiences too.
It's also not my job to tell my students who to vote for or how to vote because it's their vote. So what I get to do as a teacher is I get to make sure they have all of the knowledge that they need to make their vote count.
But what
I do that by using anti-racist curriculum and instruction in my classroom. This makes sure that my curriculum is both a window and a mirror for my BIPOC and white students to see not only themselves and my...
What's a BIPOC? BIPOC and white students.
I've never even heard that word.
POC, POC is people of color. What is BIPOC, though? Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
We'll see. What is it?
Black, indigenous, and people of color. That's basically all it's saying.
Aren't black people of color, too? And
Well, it says
whatever.
black, indigenous, and people of color.
And people of color.
Right.
Like, what the heck?
That's what
is
I
it?
said.
Yeah, but you said black, indigenous, and people of color. Isn't black included with people of color?
Okay, I see where you're going. Yeah, sure.
It's so stupid.
But it's
is both a window and a mirror
a
for my
definition
BIPOC
on the
and
internet.
white students to see not only
Well, if it's on the internet, it must be
must
true.
be true.
themselves in my curriculum, but also see lives of others and experiences that they might not otherwise have. In doing so, my students learn about how these experiences are affecting the people around them, and that when they vote, it's not just about voting for themselves, it's about voting for others and using their privilege to make their vote count for others who don't have the privilege or the ability to vote.
You
So
know,
Matt
all this
Walsh
is
released
doing,
his-
all this kind of teaching is doing is telling kids what class level they belong to.
Right. It's going to turn into all classism.
Well,
That's
it
it.
already is.
Yeah, but this is pushing it on a young age.
But this is being pushed by the upper class into the colleges for these kids that are wanting to be educators
This isn't
by
she
their
wasn't-
professors.
She wasn't a college teacher. She was an elementary teacher.
No, I know. I'm saying the upper class pushing the colleges. Colleges are telling the professors to give
I
it
get
to
what
the
you're
kids
saying,
that want to be educated. And it's a trickle down effect, kind of like Reaganomics, only in a bad way.
Right.
documentary, What is a Woman, in which he asks the
Great documentary. That was a
Another
great
dude.
documentary. I don't know. You've seen that, right? What is a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great documentary.
Ability to vote.
So Matt Walsh released his documentary, What is a Woman, in which he asks the titular question. I put documentary in air quotes because he uses that pretext in order to get himself into conversations with people who otherwise wouldn't want to talk with him and do gotcha-style journalism.
And she's educated.
Journalism. He's not really trying to explore the topic or learn anything, but I'll give you an answer anyway. A woman is someone who honestly and sincerely identifies as one, and someone who is comfortable, perhaps even enthusiastic, about being perceived as one. You
No,
may think this definition
that-
is obtuse because it's incredibly abstract, but the fact is that you can't come up with a simple definition. Let's go with the obvious alternatives. A woman's someone with XX chromosomes. Well, that doesn't work because plenty of cis women don't have XX chromosomes. For example, people with XY gonadal dysgenesis will have XY chromosomes, but will develop as cis women. So chromosomes don't work for us. And by the way, this is only one of many ways this can...
And that's 0.00 how many percent of the population?
The left, the woke crowd, whatever, they always do that. The absolute longest shot of anything occurring is what they justify their mental state as.
Right. There's things such as, you know, the rule and the exception. She is trying to make the exception the rule. You know.
There was one of the representatives was actually just calling for a divorce. I'm talking about a countrywide divorce where conservatives go one way and the crazies go the other.
I'm down.
I think it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It really needs to happen.
Yeah, they're living on. Well, it's not a divided country. This is like they're from another planet. You know,
Reality.
You could be.
They have no reality.
Be. Right. You can't be. If you're born a boy, you stay a boy, and if you're born a girl, you stay a girl. Just like Mr. Rogers said.
Work
to my neighborhood.
So let's go functional. Maybe it's someone who can give birth. Okay, well that doesn't work because postmenopausal women are still women. Maybe it's someone who was born with a uterus in general, but if I was born in with a condition in which the lower half of my body didn't develop properly, I might not be born with a uterus, but that wouldn't make me any less of a cis woman, would it?
And again, that's the rule, that's the exception, not the rule.
I'm going to stop there because, as I'm sure you can see, the biological argument doesn't work. So let's talk about my definition. Someone who honestly and sincerely identifies as one. What I'm talking about here is what's going on in your brain, the makeup and composition of your brain. And there's been plenty of studies that show that cis women and trans women's brains work pretty much the same way. So we're off to a good start, right? So when we talk about these brains, that are for the most...
Told you that's a dude.
They don't get their own explanation or their own. What did she say? Own
definition.
Yeah, definition. You don't get your own. There is just one. There is a woman. That's a adult human female. You know.
This dude's been watching too many Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Believing that there's a completely different universe that she's or he or whatever that I don't know what this person identifies as, but they live over there.
Yeah. You know,
how they got warped over in this. Wow.
I kind of hope that that's true because it would make a lot more sense on like why we're hearing about all this crap like recently. You know, that we're being invaded. I hope it's true.
Part similar. We're talking about people who identify with a certain thing, and that gets us to the much more important and interesting question that Matt Walsh sometimes asks but never actually explores, which is, what does it mean to be a woman? And again, there are central themes, there may be similarities, but everyone's womanhood is different. For some people, it's about pregnancy and giving birth and having children. For other people, it's about long dresses. For other people, it's about a witch's commune. It doesn't matter. What really matters is that...
That's appropriating women.
Okay, this is completely exposing the joke of what the ideology that they have is. It's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess what? I feel like a woman, so I'm gonna call myself a woman. You know why? Because I think I'm gonna wear a dress.
Right, and they always have the term. They always have the term. Oh, that's my truth. No, you don't get your own truth. There's
Give me a break.
All of those people together are comfortable saying, I am comfortable being perceived as a woman.
You're down if you study for 6 years to get your dream job as a teacher, and while getting that degree, you not only struggle to feed yourself while living alone, working 40+ hour weeks while going to school full time, then you finally graduate and you're so excited because you got a job at an amazing school with an amazing principal and amazing coworkers. But your first year as a teacher is 2020.
Side effect of the...
And you not only have to deal with normal first year problems, but also teaching remotely and then teaching hybrid. And you get help from your coworkers, but not nearly enough support because everyone is flailing, trying to figure this new normal out. But you figure it out because you love your job and your students and you survived that first year. Then your second year starts and you know you'll be better because it will be in person and you're so excited to have your kiddos in the classroom. And you even go back to work 3 weeks before you're supposed to because you really want to make sure your classroom is made safe and comfortable for your students. And at this point, you also listen to education podcasts, read books about teaching, spend hours planning engaging lessons, and you're just so excited to put in all of this into practice. At this point, your school has a new principal and you don't really worry.
You remember when Mom would say, you make that face too long, it's going to stay like that.
About it because you know you're
it stayed like that.
Doing everything you can for your students, and even though you've barely met them once in passing, you're not worried because you're sure they'll be great. After you come back from winter break, you decide to create an account on this clock app, and you want to share your life as a teacher.
Dude, this chick is boring.
But when do you get upset at a commenter on a video of you saying how you support your Alphabet Mafia students and you say half a curse word and your new principal decides the first conversation that they will have with you is about letting you know that they have filed a complaint and will start an official investigation, because even though no parent or student had even seen the video, and even though I had already taken it down because I myself didn't really want it up, they had already seen it and therefore they would go forward with the investigation. This is the beginning of their recommendation for you to get non-reappointed from your district, meaning to have me removed as a teacher and not be able to come back ever. And you realize education is broken and this is BS and you risk.
Dude,
what was
the investigation wasn't about some curse word. It was because all the kids were afraid you were going to slap them across the face. Man.
Dude, I got lost in her conversation. I really got lost. I couldn't pay attention to her.
She was talking about something personal and just
whatever. I don't care. I don't really.
She tried to make it not seem personal.
Oh man. That was a really long video.
That was, yeah.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Yeah, we could have done without that. I'm gonna go to bed tonight in a bad mood.
Not feeling quite the same.
Nope. I'm glad we're not liberals. I really am. Like, I don't want to. I would not want to be grouped in with those people.
I really do believe that they need psychiatric help.
I'm still hoping that there was an invasion. Think about it. It would make a lot more sense to have that happen, and that's where these things came from.
You know, okay, think back when you were younger, right? You'd always hear, yeah, right, into that deep thought. You'd always hear about somebody being crazy, okay? Mm-hmm. But then, what was going on? You had people from the left side making it a point to, well, we're taking away these people's human rights to have them in hospitals for this.
Mm-hmm.
So they were pushing these people to continue to be on the streets and develop that crazy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're just...
Now we have the world we have.
Yep. They're validating their crazy. Just like STDs. Like, dude, now they don't even call them STDs. They call them STIs. Because they don't want people that have STDs to be outcasted. They want to call them infections and not diseases. Yeah. We're there now. Like, ugh. All right, whatever. Go
get some help.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, all down below.
And share these videos.
Bro, I already said share.
But it'll help us out so much.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else? Joe Biden.